I'm Foster Hewitt, and I'll be doing the play-by-play, and with me is my sidekick, Brian Conacher, to do the color. This is the rubber game of the series, with each team winning one game and tying the other. Brian?
Well, Foster, both teams have made liberal changes to try to win this fourth and final game in Canada. The Soviets have made 4 changes, inserting Ragulin, Vikulov, Polodyev, and Blinov, and dropping Solodukin, Gusev, Shatilov, and Mishakov. The Soviets are now back to very much the same lineup as they had in Game 1. For Canada, they've inserted 8 new players, getting a lot more players into the lineup. They have switched goalies. They've got Ken Dryden in goal, replacing Tony Esposito. Don Ory and Rod Sealing are replacing Guy Lapointe, and Serge Savard, who suffered a broken bone in his foot in a practice here yesterday. Rod Sealing, Vic Hadfield, Rod Gilbert, Dennis Hall, Gilles Perrault, and Bill Goldsworthy are in the lineup. And here comes Team Canada onto the ice. And rounding out their roster, the Canadians have also dropped Peter Mahovlich, Jean Rattel, Stan Makita, Wayne Cashman, and Jean-Paul Parise. And to our right, the Soviets skate onto the ice. Prior to this game,
ladies and gentlemen, we will now have presentations at center ice. Mesdames et messieurs, nous aurons maintenant des présentations au centre de la patinoire. First, we would like to welcome the Deputy Chief of the Soviet delegation, Mr. Romensky, who will present a Troishika Gadol to the Mr. Bill Hay, President of Hockey Canada. Monsieur Romensky, le chef de la délégation russe, fera maintenant une présentation de ces fameuses poupées russes à Monsieur Bill Hay, de Hockey Canada.
These are traditional Soviet dolls, and there are several dolls within the one big doll. You take off the head, and another little doll comes out, and you go right down to
now
the minutest little doll.
The Russian team leader, Mr. Andrei Starovoitov, will make a presentation to Mr. Joe Kriska, President of the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association. Une présentation est faite à Monsieur Joe Kriska, le président de l'Association amateur de hockey du Canada, par Monsieur Andrei Starovoitov. Now, the International Secretary of the Russian Ice Hockey Federation, Mr. Viktor Kotoshkin, will present to Mr. Alan Eagleson of the National Hockey League Players Association. Présentation à Monsieur Alan Eagleson. Now the coach of the Russian team will present to the Canadian coach, Harry Sinden. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vilodov Bobrov. Now the assistant coach of the Soviet team, Mr. Boris Kuligin, will present to the assistant coach of Team Canada, John Ferguson. Now for the team presentations. Maintenant pour la présentation des deux équipes en présence ce soir. Pour l'équipe de l'Union soviétique, for the Soviet Union team, le numéro 1, number 1, Victor Zinger. Wearing number 3, le numéro 3, Vladimir Luchenko.
All of these dolls will be of different sizes, as you can see, and when they're over, they'll all insert in to be one big doll.
Number 5, le numéro 5, Alexander Ragulin. Le numéro 6, number 6, Valery Vassiliev.
Canadians, in turn, are presenting the Soviet team with a medal.
Le numéro 7, number 7, Gennady Tigankov. Number 9, Yuri Blinov. Le numéro 10, number 10, Alexander Maltsev. Le numéro 13, number 13, Boris Mikhailov. Le numéro 15, number 15, Alexander Yakushev. Le numéro 16, number 16, Vladimir Petrov. Le numéro 17, number 17, Valery Karmalov. Le numéro 18, number 18, Vladimir Bigulov. Le numéro 19, number 19, Vladimir Shadrin. Le numéro 20, number 20, Vyacheslav Tretiak. Le numéro 22, number 22, Vyacheslav Anisin. Le numéro 26, number 26, Eugenie Poladiev. Le numéro 23, number 23, Yuri Lebedev. Et le numéro 24, number 24, Alexander Bodunov. And now the captain of the Soviet Union team, Viktor Kuskin, will present a doll to the captain of the Canadian team for the non-playing Canadians player.
A tremendous spontaneous ovation
Now,
after that exchange.
The introduction of Team Canada. La présentation des joueurs de l'équipe Canada. Number 1, le numéro 1, Ed Johnston. Le numéro 2, number 2, Gary Bergman. Le numéro 3, number 3, Pat Stapleton. Number 5, le numéro 5, Brad Park. Number 6, le numéro 6, Ron Ellis. Number 7, numéro 7, Phil Esposito. Number 8, le numéro 8, Rod Gilbert. Le numéro 9, number 9, Bill Goldsworthy. Number 10, le numéro 10, Dennis Hull. Number 11, numéro 11, Vic Atfield. Number 12, numéro 12, Yvan Gournoyer. Number 16, numéro 16, Rod Sealing. Number 17, numéro 17, Bill White. Number 19, numéro 19, Paul Anderson. Numéro 26, number 26, Don Ori. Number 27, numéro 27, Frank Mahovlich. Number 28, numéro 28, Bobby Clark. Number 29, numéro 29, Ken Dryden. Number 33, numéro 33, Gilbert Perrault. Ladies and gentlemen, will you now please rise for the national anthems? Ladies, mesdames et messieurs, s'il vous plaît, vous levez pour les hymnes nationaux.
This is Game 4 of the Canada-Soviet Series from Vancouver. Now for the starting lineups, and Bergman and Brad Park on the Canadian defense. Clark is center ice, Paul Henderson and Ellis on the wings, and Ken Dryden in goal. Going back to the first game of the series. Now for the Soviets, Raglan is out there with Sagankov, Mikhailov, Maltsev, and Harlamov are the forward line. Tretjak in goal, continuing his great performance. Len Gagnon and Gordon Lee are the two officials, and the Soviet team are in a huddle as usual, right in front of their own bench, and now they're all set to go.
Foster, it'd be a good time to mention what the CCCP means on the front of the Soviets' jerseys. It, of course, is in the Russian alphabet, means the USSR, or the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
The Soviets are to our right, Canada to the left. Maltsev got the draw momentarily. Canada recovers, shoots it up over the line. Clark driving it in. Ellis going after it. It's shot on the boards. Harlamov getting it at the blue line. 17. Harlamov over to Vikolov. And Vikolov couldn't recover as Park is skating him off. Number 5. Ellis goes in to help. Back to the goal. Left it. A loose puck. It's back to the net for Maltsev. They're great opportunists. Another roller over on the side. Henderson covered his man. Henderson wearing the red helmet comes in front of his own goal over to Ellis. Ellis at center ice behind Clark. Recovered by the Soviet. And it's Vikolov over the line with Harlamov, who went in too far. Park is covered by Maltsev, who has the puck. He's bumped. Here's a shot by Sagankov that went wide of the net. Bergman plays to Paul Henderson. Henderson up to center ice. Raglan took Canadian player out. Henderson still going. Stopped as he went to one side of the net. Center right in front of Park. Here's a shot. And the drive went wide. Soviet come right back with a pass. Mikhailov failing to get it. Mikhailov 13. Petrov making the pass. And they're changing on the go. Now Blinov was given a jolt on the boards. Petrov failed. Blinov going in. Number 9 is knocked over by Goldsworthy. And he gives him the elbow again. Mikhailov took it on the head. And Goldsworthy will get the first penalty of the game for Canada.
Of course, Foster, Goldsworthy has been waiting a long time to get in this series. He got in briefly in one of the other games, but the Canadians are so intense, they want to get into this game so badly that a few chippy penalties are inevitable to come.
1 minute, 24 seconds. La punition de l'équipe du Canada au numéro 9, Bill Goldsworthy. 2 minutes pour doubler chèque à 1 minute 24 secondes.
1:24, Goldsworthy for cross-checking. And Goldsworthy had just come on the ice on a player change as the two teams were changing on the move. Petrov is now at center ice for the Soviet. They have the odd man advantage. So Canada under a disadvantage right off the bat. Bill White goes back to the net. Mahovlich couldn't recover the puck. Kuskin to Mikhailov, 13. The pass goes loose. Bill White lobbed it down the ice. And Tretjak will have to stop it. Luchenko takes it back to the goal. Number 3, watched by Mahovlich. He's out there with Bill Esposito trying to kill off the penalty. From the corner, the puck is shot to the blue line, recovered by Blinov. Up to center to Petrov. Over the line, he stops. They're getting that passing play here. Luchenko's drive. Scores! A long shot by Luchenko. And whether it was deflected by a stick, it's hard to say.
Again, good puck control by the Soviets. They crossed the blue line with good puck control. Now Luchenko moves into the prime scoring area. Mikhailov has parked himself on the left of the net. And I don't know whether he actually tipped it or not, but he distracted Dryden as he tried to come across the net and stop the deflection. Good slap shot, low in a good place for a deflection. And Mikhailov is right on the corner of Dryden's pad and tips it up into the net.
Soviet Union's goal scored by number 13, Boris Mikhailov, assisted by number 3, Vladimir Luchenko, and number 16, Vladimir Petrov. At 2 minutes,
Luchenko and Petrov will get assists on that play. Mihailov was able to touch that puck. He made a scoop at it, as you noticed, and it was a question whether he touched it or not. But apparently it went right up off the toe of his stick and beat Dryden cleanly at 2:01.
Just another example of how costly penalties can be.
That goal was scored with Goldsworthy in the penalty box. So it's now USSR 1, Canada no score. Goldsworthy starts back on the right side, and the puck was kicked at the time. It's offside at the Soviet line. Teams are at full strength. Now it's the kid line out there for the Anderson at center ice. Vodunov on one wing and Lebedev on the other. Lebedev was 23. This is the young line that played in the University Series last year at Lake Placid. So they're all 20 years old, showing how hockey is improving and coming along in Russia. Puck is shot right down the ice and cleared down into the Canadian zone, so it's an icing call.
A good first intermission coming up with a look in the Soviet dressing room in Winnipeg. Bill Good will have some fan reaction again, and there'll be an interview with Joe Kriska, the president of the CAHA. Of course, Howie Meeker will be along with the highlights.
Vikulov is over on the right wing for the Soviet. He failed to get out. Again gets it with Harlamov on his left. Maltsev on the right. As the puck goes, Ori goes in back of that. He's out there with Sealing for Canada. Now then, a long pass to Hadfield goes astray. Gankov bringing it back with Vikulov and Harbalov. A shot stopped by Don Ori. Cleared back to the net by Phil Esposito. They jam against the board. Raglan hangs on to that puck. Another case of real puck control. They're roughing it up quite a bit here right at the start, and Canada got a penalty for cross-checking that allowed the Soviet to capitalize on a scoring effort. An icing call, as the Canadian team seemed to be a bit upset by that scoring play.
Number 18, Vikulov, has made an amazing recovery to get back into this lineup tonight. He suffered a partial separated shoulder in Game 2. Had it strapped up for a couple of practices and is now back out there taking a regular shift. Of course, that's the Soviets' top line.
Perot is out there now for Canada, number 33. He's the product from Buffalo in the NHL. Mahovlich is on the left wing from Montreal Canadiens, and also Cornwallier. So now it's back behind the Canadian goal. Perot starting to move on that left side, waiting for a pass. Bergman played it the other way. And it's Cornwallier knocking it out at center. Perot knocked Mihailov down. The puck goes into the Soviet zone. Luchenko free. Shoots it. Not out. Loose puck goes to the side. Kuskin nearly was in trouble. Mihailov playing it back to the goal. In the corner there, Blinov, number 9. Passes on the right wing. A relay is intercepted by Cornwallier to Bergman. Up on the right wing. Perot going in there, 33, sent right to Mahovlich, and it bounced off his stick. And Frank Mahovlich had a great chance. Mihailov, 13, coming back at the blue line to Blinov, number 9 at center, over the line, 3 of them closing in. Here's Mihailov right in, and a close call there for Dryden, who covered the short side. He wasn't just too sure where it came from. Perot back at center, over the line. Stopped by Kuskin. Blinov, number 9, down the far wing. 3 of them up again. Blinov pass to Mihailov. A dump pass to Kuskin. His shot was stopped. And the Canadian team break out at center ice. Coming down. Cornwallier passed. Mihailov lost it to Perot. Right in front of Henderson on a player change. And they're making frequent changes. Puck is loose on that wing. Henderson covered his man. Perot centered it in front. No one was there. Soviets clear out to center ice, and it hit Park skate. Paul Henderson drives it over the line to Cornwallier, coming right in on goal. And Tretjak didn't even budge on that one. Clark tried to dig it out from back of the net. It's knocked over to Cornwallier. Cornwallier slashes at Kuskin. Here's another chance for Stapleton, a dribbler, And again, the Soviet player is kind of slashed by Kornwaye. Down the left side for Anderson. The kid line out there. Vodnov was with him, and the shot went flying into the crowd. But the score, Russia 1, and Canada no score. This is game 4 from Vancouver. Soviets 1, Canada no score. 14:28 left in the first period. And Canada had a setback on a penalty to Goldsworthy. A long clearing pass. Dennis Hull on that left wing. Goldsworthy on the right. Bill Esposito at center. Dennis Hull got his shot away, and it hit Poladiev's skate and went wide. There's that boarding check there. On that far side, there's going to be another penalty to Goldsworthy, who's overly aggressive. Canada recover the puck, and it's an elbow call on the play. They jammed into the boards.
Again, it's an example here in Goldsworthy getting this penalty. He made the play. The player got the puck away, and of course, being a little over-anxious, Goldsworthy goes in. He takes the check, which normally he probably wouldn't.
Canada's penalty, number 9, Bill Goldsworthy. 2 minutes for elbowing at 5 minutes 58 seconds. La punition de l'équipe du Canada, numéro 9, Bill Goldsworthy. 2 minutes pour avoir donné du coude à 5 minutes 58 secondes.
That's 2 penalties in a row for Goldsworthy. This one for elbowing at 5:58. The first one is 1:24. The Soviets took advantage. There's a long shot. Maltsev let it go, and the Canadian team will be in trouble again with a man short. Maltsev gets that puck again. His pass is knocked down, and Clark shot it down the ice. Clark and Ellis out there to kill off the penalty with Stapleton and Bill White. There's a long pass to Bikolov. It got away. Bikolov tried to go in there, but Stapleton was right on top of him. Harlamov got the pass, gets it again, getting it back to the blue line. Canada recovers, and they pass to Stapleton, went astray. Ragulin going into the corner, number 5. Gankov is his other defense player. Now Petrov on a player change, moving up at center, 16. A long shot. Dryden had to spear that one with his glove. He lost the puck right off the bat. Another chance for Mihailov, back to Luchenko, and apparently it went over the blue line just by a fraction, and it was called as a result.
Dryden still looks just a little bit shaky on some of these shots. I don't think he, in his mind, has adjusted yet to how hard the Soviets can shoot the puck. Petrov let a slap shot go there that Dryden made a good save on, but he didn't look like he was right on top of the puck.
All set now for the face-off near the Canadian blue line. 1-0 for the Soviets. Clark got the draw. Ellis dropped into Mihailov. Here's Luchenko getting the shot. Dryden made the save. Dryden has been fighting that puck a bit, and the puck comes right down the ice to Luchenko, number 3 for the Soviets. Petrov takes his pass, going right back into their own zone again. Kuskin is beside him. Now he moves. Coming up at the blue line, pass on the left wing to Mihailov at center. Over on that right wing, they're closing in. Every man is up now for the pass. Here's Luchenko getting his shot. He scores! Luchenko let one go on a beautiful passing play, and the Soviets have taken a 2-0 lead.
Again, an example of perfect puck control. Look at them set up the puck control. Harlamov gets it right across. Luchenko moves in. Now again, Mihailov gets the stick down, deflects it up over Dryden. Dryden really had no chance on that. But again, it's an example. The Soviet power play is devastating. Penalties are going to cost you.
7:29, the scoring play, and we're not sure whether Mihailov will get credit on that shot by Luchenko, but he had his stick right in the way. We'll wait for the official. A long shot. Yes, Mihailov.
Assisted by number 3, Vladimir Luchenko, and number 16, Vladimir
With the score,
Petrov.
the Soviets 2 and Canada no score. This is game 4 from Vancouver. That is the same type of play there with Mihailov getting a stick in the way on Luchenko's shot in each case. So it's 2-0 for the Soviets, and almost identical goals in which it was doubtful whether Mihailov had really contacted the puck or not, but he did. And in each case, he gets the goal with Macheko getting the assist. Petrov got the assist on the first one. 2:01 and 7:29 for the Soviets. And from the way they're playing at the moment, looks as if this could be a rough game.
Chippy play can only work to the advantage here of the Soviets because, of course, they're winning 2-0 right now.
Esposito at center ice, got that puck back at center. Sealing cleared it over on the far side to Park. It's dumped over the line. Vasiliev shot it out to center ice. And so far, the Canadian team have been unable to really untrack themselves. 2 penalties have been 2 goals. That power play really has them buffaloed. Bodnov coming down this the kid line on the left wing, over the line, still, and a shot there by Anderson that just went wide of the target. He took a slap shot, and they weren't supposed to know anything about the slap shot when they arrived. Sealing, 16, ahead on the right side to Gilbert, over on that far wing. Hadfield knocked his man over, they fell into the boards. Esposito is trying to dig it out, he lost the puck, it shot down the ice. Going right to the goal line, but not quite. And so it's got called, and Don Ori. There's ahead to Mahovlich. Here's the shot. Tretjak knocked that down with his glove. Harlamov right into his own man. Esposito was right in there close. Harlamov nearly upset the apple cart there in front of the Soviet defense. Here's Harlamov taking a pass way offside. He's 17 and the big star of the team.
Here's a good look at the play from the low angle. You can see Tretjak moving around in that net to set up continually.
From the face-off, Perot out there now in center with Poirier and Frank Mahovlich. Harlamov out there with Mikulak and Maltsev. And a icing call, and the face-off is going to be in the Soviet zone to the left of Tretjak.
One thing that has been causing Team Canada a little bit of trouble in this first period is their defense are backing in a little bit, and they're giving the Soviets good puck control.
On the face-off, the Soviets get the draw, lose it again on the boards, only to recover. Harlamov playing it to Maltsev, over to Mikulak, over the Canadian blue line, then Harlamov missed it. Mike Mahovlich coming back with Perot, the two of them over the line. Mahovlich cleared it one front to Perot. Perot failed to get a shot, and the checking by the Soviets very close. Skankov over to Mikulak. Here's Maltsev, uncovered, right in on goal. And his backhand just failed to click. But they're walking right in on that Canadian defense. Poirier passes back. Here's the shot by Perot. Went off the skate. Mihailov with Harlamov coming right back at center on a player change. Mihailov, who's been the big opportunist, deflecting 2 shots. Had a good chance there. Poirier to Mahovlich. To Perot. Perot over the line. Houston stopped in number 4. Head to Mihailov. And Mihailov, incidentally, wears 13, so you can see what a gallant soul he has to be. And he's had the 2 goals. And in each case, deflections. And hard to tell. Now Ellis down the right wing. Here's a shot. Tretjak covered that angle perfectly. 2-0 for the Soviets. Mihailov, 13. Passing ahead, just getting rid of it, really. Bill White took it at center ice, shot it right back in again. And the Canadian team are trying to turn the tide by putting pressure on. A pass, Henderson, but rolling in front and couldn't get a shot on goal. He's given a jolt against the boards. Klinov cuts back as they started out. Now he's turning. Petrov is waiting for him. Mihailov with him at center ice. He was thrown off balance. Petrov, 16 for the Soviet, clears right back to Mihailov. They have a man in position almost every time, regardless of the circumstances. Mihailov made a Rick-wide pass. Henderson got over there too late. Pat Stapleton gets a long shot away, and that was 5 for Tretjak. Quick pass by Vasiliev. Up ahead at center ice, the kid line coming in here. Lebedev is forced into the corner. Vodnov couldn't get it. Anderson from the corner shoots one behind the net. Stable had failed to clear, and the Soviets are getting that puck in the corner, which is always dangerous. Puck comes over on the right side. Goldsworthy, who's had 2 penalties, played it over on the far wing to Bill Esposito, who got rid of it. Puck was in the Soviet zone. Failed to get away. Esposito intercepted a pass, and Dennis Hull, who can really blast and failed to get a hard drive. Bill White keeps it in. The Goldsworthy, who flipped one high, and it goes over the glass into the crowd. With the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada no score. This is Game 4 from Vancouver. Hatfield sitting there pondering what has happened. 2-0 for the Soviet. Here's Esposito getting a quick shot. Tried to try it by Tretjak. Esposito working his heart out there. Had a good chance, but he couldn't force it through.
Esposito's great strength. Of course, he can fight anybody off in the face-off. Gets a good backhand. Tretjak covers up.
From the face-off, it's back to Bill White, whose backhand rolled wide. Dennis Hull center to Esposito, who's well covered by Raglan. Soviet coming out 3 abreast. Stopped by Goldsworthy and given to Bill White. Played it to Pat Stable and nearly cleared it onto his stick. Goldsworthy is watched by Mikola, who steals the puck and knocks it to the corner. Bill White covered up with Maltsev, number 10, standing by.
A little bit of confusion there in Canada's end, and of course Bill White, with his experience, realizes that the best thing to do is trap the puck and let Coach Harry Sinden sort things out from behind the bench. Sinden has to be a little concerned. Of course, it's early in the game, but he is behind by 2 goals.
From the face-off, Raglan gets it at the blue line, takes a long shot that stopped. Perot had a whack at it. Harlamov played it over on the far wing. Jankov shoots it into the Canadian zone. Mahavlich failed to get it out. Maltsev nearly cleared one onto his own player's stick. His ceiling goes into the corner, and the passing by the Canadian team in their own end is very ragged and leaving openings.
The forechecking by the Soviets right now is excellent. They're sending the first man in. He's playing the body. He's taking the man up against the boards. With his feet, he's trying to kick the puck back to one of his own teammates. And, of course, Team Canada right now is scrambling a little bit to try and get untracked and get back into this game.
It would appear to me that the Canadian team are playing back to that first game in Montreal. They just aren't sure of themselves. A long shot. Ori is going back to the net. Ori is now on the move for Canada, the blue line. On the right side, cleared it in. He ran into Lecheko. Kuskin cleared into the corner. Cornwallis going in back to the net. Tried to dig it out. He did. Mahavlich couldn't get it. Cornwallis shoots. And they all ducked, and it went into the crowd. Kuskin was down on his knees. Petrov beside there, and Mihailov.
You saw Kuskin, a perfect example of how well they use their feet in front of the net. Of course, he had lost track of the puck with his eyes, but he kept his feet moving, and he eventually got down on the puck. It got pushed away. Cornwallis tried to blast the puck right back through the whole maze and hoped that it would go right through. Of course, it deflected and went up out of play.
Hatfield on the left wing, Gilbert on the right, Perot at center ice. Lecheko has had 2 assists. Both his shots deflected by Mihailov for scoring plays. Lecheko shoots it out at center. He's checked by Bledoff, and the puck goes flying over the glass into the crowd. 6 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 for the USSR.
There's Coach Bobrov. Of course, they don't show a tremendous amount of emotion, but he has to be a little more relaxed with a 2-goal lead than Coach Sinden on the other side of the rink.
Canadians get the puck. Here's Hatfield having it hop over his stick from the corner. Hatfield trying to get it back to Perot, to the blue line to Seelig. It bounced off a Soviet player. It still bounced off a second time. And they're certainly making it tough in the Soviet zone where they're checking. Petrov, 16 at center. Bledoff on his right, Mihailov on the left. In the corner. This is where the Canadian team are falling out. The Soviets recover that puck, set right in front. Roller was stopped on that play by Perot. But again, the Canadian team are failing to recover that puck in the corners, and that's a disaster, especially in their own zone. Puck goes in back of the Soviet goal. They're trying to dig that puck out in front. Esposito trying to backhand. Tretjak handle it with ease. Mihailov couldn't get past center. Ori draws his check ahead to Hedfield at center, 11 for Canada, to Esposito. A long shot wide of the net. The Canadian team haven't been able to break in on that defense with any real direct drive. It's down the far side. Lebedev going in on with Bodnov. The pass comes to the Canadian team. It's over onto Dennis Hull, getting his shot away and missed by about 10 feet. Ellis from the corner couldn't recover. It's back again for the Soviets. Lebedev in front of the net as Bodnov tried, while sliding on the ice, to deflect it. Canada tried to get that puck out of their own zone, and it's been hard. Esposito at center with Ellis on his right. Back to Dennis Hull. A shot. Tretjak made that save. Puck bounces all the way back at center ice. Brad Park, as they're changing on the go, ran into Anderson. Here they come again. Lebedev with Anderson getting in front to Harlamov. Then a deflection. Another shot. And Dryden will stop that one with Lebedev right at the doorstep. With the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada no score. This is Game 4 from Vancouver.
What the Soviets have been doing so well is playing their positions. Team Canada are having a tendency to chase the puck a little too much.
Maltsev knocked the puck to the boards on that face-off. Bill White lobbed it into Pat Stapleton, who was skating up to get it to the blue line at center. The pass didn't reach Ellis. Raglan shooting it down the ice. Bill White, 17 for Canada. A long pass to Paul Henderson failed to click. Soviet take over at center ice. Nikoluk, 18, takes a shot high. But they always seem to get a shot when they feel that they have the opportunity, but they never shoot until they feel they have a good chance.
I can't emphasize how important it is to play your position in this type of hockey. The Soviets are doing it exceptionally well.
Bill White from the face-off goes with a pass over to Henderson, who's blocked there. Now Stapleton trying to help him out, knocked it back to Dryden. And Dryden made sure there was no monkey business by going down low to cover.
In a close checking game, if you do play your positions or close to your man, you have a 50-50 chance of getting that puck every time it's passed.
3:15 left in the first period. Soviets leading 2-0. A long pass to Henderson. Ellis follows in, couldn't control that puck. And it's shot out to center ice. Pat Stapleton backing up. 3 minutes left. Now then on that left side. Henderson in front. Tretjak caught that with his glove as Clark let one go.
Tretjak has an amazingly quick hand, because he there looked like he was a little too close to the post and he was right back into the net, but the big glove came up and took that shot of Bobby Clark's.
Petrov is going out to center ice. There's Bobrov, the coach. He seems to be even more active in this game tonight than others. From the face-off, here's a chance. There's Frank Mahovlich, hit a skate. Blinov, 9. In the Canadian zone, keeps on going from Petrov, took his shot, and Dryden was down low to cover up on that close call.
This shot causes Dryden a lot of trouble because he wasn't absolutely sure that Blinov loses it. He gets it back, kicks it up with his foot. Now he's not sure, he's not going to try to go out in front. And Dryden fell back into the net.
From the face-off, Canada recover, and it's down the right side. Perot was squeezed right out on the play by Luchenko. Pustin in front of his own net. Over to Blinov. Up to center ice with Petrov and Mihailov. Here's Mihailov's shot, went bouncing high. Caught by Dryden. And this Mihailov is playing quite a game in this first period, having been given credit for the first 2 scoring plays in which he deflected each one after Luchenko's shot. It was just one of those things, but they all count. Tremendous crowd here. There's not a space anywhere, and they were lined up trying to get tickets in Vancouver for some time. Here's a long shot by Luchenko that failed to click. He fanned on it, really. Slides out to center, Hatfield took a long shot. Tretjak caught it coolly with his glove. The long pass goes down the ice. It's not going to go right that far because it's sticking on the ice. The Soviets recover. Blinov, great opportunist. Blinov was knocked sideways, though, as they squeezed him out. Esposito tried to come up at center, but he was alone. Then, pass over that far wing. Kuskin couldn't follow through. A long pass out, rather aimlessly, though, and it slides down into the Soviet zone. Vasiliev went back, but it's icing.
The Soviets' checking here has been so close, they've been sticking so close to their men, that Team Canada really has been forced into a one-on-one situation where they're trying to do it by themselves, and there's a great lack of team unity so far in this first period by Team Canada.
The Soviets have had quite a margin in the play in this first period and have earned that 2-0 lead, even though both goals were rather spotty, and that was the deflection. Here they come again. A shot right on Dryden, a hard one at that by this Anderson, and this is his kid line, the 20-year-old. Dennis Hull from center ice fired one that Tretjak knocked down. Vladiev played it over on the wing. Bodanov failed to get out. Now to the blue line, a long shot at center. 1 minute left as they drive it over the line, and it's an icing call. But the defensive work of the Soviets has really been outstanding in this game so far.
Not only have they been back-checking exceptionally well, but they are not afraid to come up the ice, and if the pattern isn't set up properly, they turn back into their end, and this seems to be causing Team Canada some confusion as to who they should actually check when the Soviets turn back into their end.
Esposito out there with Dennis Hull and Goldsworthy, number 9. He's had 2 penalties, and they've cost the Canadian team 2 goals. So you can't play men short against this Soviet team. They jam against the boards. Dennis Hull was reached against the boards there by Sagankov, so they know how to bump. Then Harlamov was knocked over by Esposito, a trip. Esposito will get a tripping penalty, so that's 3 Canadian penalties in a row.
This is one of the hardest penalties to give. Watch Harlamov. He cuts back to the inside. He actually trips himself a bit.
Penalty number 7.
Of course, when you try to jump over the stick, Esposito was trying to check him. He goes down. A 2-minute penalty. Let's hope it's not a costly one.
Au numéro 7, Phil Esposito. 2 minutes pour avoir fait trébucher. À 19 minutes 29 secondes.
All set for the face-off, with the Soviets still showing great power out there. Clark is now at center with Ellis. They're going to try and kill off this 3rd penalty. Bergman and Park on the Canadian defense. Clark and Ellis out there. Raglan shot it out over the line. Maltsev is on the right. Harlamov back to Sagankov, who's dumped on the play by Clark. Raglan over on the wing. A shot goes wide. Harlamov getting it back to Raglan, and you see how they monopolize the play. It's back to Sagankov. Another shot. Dryden got that one with the side of his stick, and they just pass that puck around a la New York Rangers in the old days.
The Soviets have a great tendency on their power play to get the puck to number 7, Sagankov. They shoot right from the slot area, but well back towards the blue line. A very dangerous shot.
Maltsev ready for the face-off. Mikhailov and Harlamov on the wings as the buzzer goes to end the first period. With the score, the Soviets 2 and Canada no score. This is Game 4 from Vancouver. Capping the first period, Mikhailov deflected Luchenko's shot to get the first Soviet goal at 2:01. Petrov was also given an assist. At 7:29, Mikhailov did almost the same thing, deflecting Luchenko's shot, and it was 2-0 for the Soviets. 3 penalties, 2 to Goldsworthy, one at 1:24, one at 5:58, and then the last one at Esposito for tripping at 19:29, and that penalty will carry over into the second period. Today, CBC celebrates 20 years of television on the English Language Network. This 20th anniversary year will feature some of the finest programs ever shown on TV, and you can look forward to seeing the tops in the world of sports. Players are out on the ice, getting ready for the start of the second period. Canadian team still disorganized and playing back to that first game of the series. And as you know, this is a key game for the Canadian series, each team having won one and tied one. Soviet team to our left, and the Canadian team to the right, and the Soviets get the draw right off the bat. Mikhailov, who has scored 2 goals, now recovering and getting back on the right wing, fooled Clark, gets over on that left side, cleared a pass to Harlamov, who's bumped by Bergman. Bergman clears it. Luchenko, who fired both shots, number 3, going in back of the net. He got the 2 assists. Harlamov cleared right on to Ellis' stick. Canadians still a man short. Esposito was off. Kuskin failed to get anywhere. Now Harlamov, 17. Up to the blue line. He'll go into the corner, then pass it back. It didn't go very far. Ellis shot it down the ice. Kuskin is going back. 35 seconds left in the penalty to Canada. Up to center ice. Over the line, a pass to Petrov, uncovered. Petrov passed back to Harlamov, a loose puck, and Canada shoot it down the ice. Ellis getting it away. Kuskin, number 4, cuts in front of his own net as Canada makes a change. A long pass goes into the corner. Bergman in there first. Bates, Vodnov to it. The kid line out there for the Soviets. A long pass too far from Mahovlich. As they're changing on the go, Bill White and Pat Stapleton out now. The Canadian team at full swing. Down the right wing for Anderson. A pass on the left wing. The shot is deflected high when Lebedev let it go. Lebedev goes into the corner to recover again. They give him a bounce. Frank Mahovlich played it back to the net to Pat Stapleton. Into the corner to Bill White. Up now to the blue line to Gilbert. Passing on the left side. Mahovlich tried to pass in front, and Esposito was back a bit. Quick pass down the far wing. Lebedev going into the corner. It was over the red line, so it's called for icing. 17:53 remaining in the second period.
Foster, it's a good time just to remind Canadians, of course the people in British Columbia appreciate this, that the Trail Smoke Eaters were the last Canadian team to beat the Russians in World Hockey in 1961 with coach Bobby Crom, and Jackie McLeod was the leading scorer.
From the face-off, Perot had a good chance. Hadfield over to Marnoyer, who was too well covered on the play. Bodnov goes down that left wing, up over the line. They jam him against the boards. Here's 2 of them in front, but the pass goes astray. The puck slides out, and Marnoyer was unable to reach it. Back go the Soviets. Over the line, a drop pass. Goes astray. Stapleton ahead. Perot, 33, going in. Here's a shot. Oh, that was close. Vodnov touched it. It was offside on the clearing pass. 2-0 for the USSR, and they had a good margin in the first period. Another change of players. Hadfield is coming out with Esposito. Esposito's going back again. They're not too sure. Looks like the Clark line. Clark, Ellis, and Henderson. Clark 28, Ellis 6, Henderson 19, wearing the red helmet. For the face-off, the Soviet get that draw. They're getting it quite often. Maltsev. Now another tries to Gankov, the defense player, going in with Henderson covering him, but he got that pass over just the same, and it's flipped out to center ice. Maltsev recovering for the Soviet, number 10. He got rid of it, and Raglan cleared out. Vikolov was right there to take it. Maltsev going in on the right. The pass didn't reach him. A long pass to Ellis failed to click. Soviet take it over the line. Raglan took an easy shot at Dryden. Maltsev couldn't break up the rush. Henderson is squeezed out, and Gankov did the heavy checking. Mikulov, 18 for the Soviet. Pass right on to Henderson's stick that bounced away. Harlamov over to his defenseman, Ragulin, to Maltsev. Maltsev going to center ice, number 10, over the line, missed Bill White's check. On the drive, that was a real shot that went wide. Seemed to have Dryden beaten if it was on. From the corner, Henderson, 19, is squeezed out. And the Soviets, if you'll notice, and it's hard to notice it, are hitting quite hard. With the Soviets 2 and Canada no score, this is Game 4 from Vancouver. Kuskin was speaking to the coach, Bobrov. Here's some more strategy. Here's a shot. Tried to stop it. Right to the line. Oh, that was close. Dryden stopped that one with his hand in the air, dropped right on the goal line. Watch this.
Dryden is definitely shaky tonight. This was not an exceptionally hard shot. He gets it away quickly. Dryden gloves it, now drops it. Now the defenseman very alertly. This puck is going in the net. And the defenseman, number 16, Sealing, stops the goal.
They're underway. It goes where they left that puck there. And the Canadian team are having a hard time attacking themselves. The Soviets stole the puck only to lose it again. A long shot goes into the corner. Goes where they're going back to the net. Out there with Esposito and Dennis Hull. Hull is 10. Esposito keeps it in. The puck goes around back to the net. Kuskin, number 4, after it. It's a deflection out to center ice. Sealing on the defense with Ori. Kuskin shot it on the boards. Maltsev clears out at center ice. It's blocked by Ori ahead to Dennis Hull. Dennis Hull 10, shoots it in, but really no system. Luchenko rushes over to get a loose puck at center ice, only to be stopped. Petrov ahead to Blinov alone, one man back. Blinov cruising in, left a pass. Mihailov drive was wide, but they always make that play. Here's Mihailov shooting from the Petrov shooting from the side. Back to the blue line to Kuskin, and Dryden had to grab that one with Mihailov right on top of him as the Soviets really are outplaying them.
The Soviet pressure here is intense. Dryden under tremendous pressure right in front of the goal mouth, gets his glove down on top of the puck. Foster, I can't say enough the way the Soviets are forcing Team Canada to play scrambly hockey. It's not like they're doing it intensely by any means. The Soviets forechecking and their back-checking is so relentless that they are forcing Team Canada to make all sorts of mistakes.
Soviets are really playing their best game of the series. That's the difference. Now, Perot coming up at center ice, over the line, showing a burst of speed, going right in, centered in front of the goal. I believe the Soviet player dropped it into his own net. It looked like Ragulin, who hit the puck. Perot gets credit.
A tremendous individual effort by Gilles Perot. The length of the ice, good work here. Now Vasiliev trying to stop it. It hits his skate and up into the top corner off the Soviet defenseman. Again, a beautiful effort by Gilles Perot. A good burst of speed, but the Soviet deflected into the net.
Le but de l'équipe Canada, compté par le numéro 23, Gilbert Perrault, sans air.
Harlamov tested Dryden with a long shot after the face-off. Now Canada back in the race here, 2-1. Perrault coming through, unassisted. Here's Harlamov going in front of the goal, right in front of the net. And Dryden was down, out of the play, with Maltsev standing right on the corner. So you'll see how they work in here.
Here's an example. If Harlamov had shot the puck and let Maltsev standing on the corner play the rebound, they would have had a better opportunity to score instead of passing off and nullifying the play by Dryden.
Perrault getting a great hand for an individual effort. A scoring play for Canada at 5:37. So now it's the Soviets 2, Canada 1. That should give the Canadian team a lift and settle them down a bit. Maltsev coming back on the right wing. Failed to get past the defense. Able to pass. Sergankov cleared to the open wing. And every time the Soviets pass that, running into Ellis, right in with a backhand. Oh, it's a loose in front of the net. Tretjak was beaten on the play, but Henderson couldn't get there in time.
Tretjak was beaten here. Ronnie Ellis goes to the outside. A good backhand. Stays on top of the puck. Tretjak loses it. Of course, the Soviet defensemen scramble in front of the net. Zagankov and Regulin stop Bobby Clark from bouncing it into the open net. A fine effort all the way around, Foster.
Yes, it looks to me as if this Canadian team will get a big lift out of that scoring play by Perreault, primarily by the way he did it. Here's Henderson getting his shot. Tretjak stopped that one, and that was a close call again. So the Canadian team is getting fired up and getting what they've lacked so far is confidence in themselves. Perreault, one assistant. All set now for the face-off. 13:35 left in the second period. Henderson back to Stapleton. It's shot by Petrov. A 2-on-1. Bill White back. Right on a shot. It's goal! Right from that left wing. A perfect play by Blinov. And the Soviets have got that one back very quickly.
That is going to hurt Team Canada. A perfect pass under the defenseman's stick. Blinov makes no mistake. A hard drive right between Dryden's legs. What you'll see here now, watch Petrov put it inside White's stick and his leg. That's the perfect place to play the pass.
Soviet Union's goal scored by number 9, Yuri Blinov, assisted by number 16, Vladimir Petrov, and number 13, Boris Mikhailov, at 6 minutes 34 seconds. Le but de l'Union soviétique compté par le numéro 9, Yuri Blinov.
Scoring play, Blinov at 6:34. Petrov and Mikhailov getting the assist, so that's 3 points for Mikhailov. Here the Soviet in front of the Canadian goal, but they failed to get a shot on the net. So the score is now 3-1 for the USSR.
I hope we don't see Team Canada go back into their shell, because they were definitely coming out of it and playing much better hockey.
Face off in the Canadian zone. The puck is recovered by Hatfield. Ahead now to Gilbert. Gilbert, number 8, stops. Cleared the pass, intercepted. And is carried right down at center ice. A fake shot by Shadron, who's a spare player in the game. They jam into the corner. It's over on the far side. Hatfield comes up in center. Over the line. Here's Gilbert faking. And a shot right across the goal post. Tretjak had it covered, though. The puck is at center ice. Soviet attacking Vikolov. Number 18 getting in with a drive, and it's wide. But how they get these shots, the Canadian defense backing up almost on every occasion. There's a collision. Hatfield bumped into Paladiev right at the Soviet line. Quick pass on the left wing. The Soviets cruising in. Vikolov had a shot blocked on the fence. Esposito knocks it around back of the net to Sealing. Cornwallier is on that far wing. A long pass. Cornwallier's right through. Oh, he went right through. And a great save there by Tretjak. Return rush by the Soviets. A drop pass and a drive. Right. Deflected that with his glove. Zagankov checked it. 2-on-1. A pass again to Cornwallier going right in the goal. And he went in the net and the puck stayed out. Esposito had set him up. That's 2 in a row that Cornwallier unable to cash in on. But he made a great effort. Zagankov goes in on the defense with Vasiliev clearing it out. Mike Mahavlich played it over to Esposito. Here's a shot. And Tretjak grabbed that one with his left glove. With the score, the Soviet 3 and Canada 1. This is game 4 from Vancouver. Ready for the face-off in the Soviet zone. 3-1 for the Soviet. Cornwallier. Here's the penalty coming to Kuskin for tripping. Kuskin upset Cornwallier, who's been tearing in there and coming very close. That's Kuskin going over to the penalty box, number 4.
Soviet Union's penalty number 4, Hector Kuskin. 2 minutes for tripping at 8 minutes 39 seconds. La punition de l'Union soviétique au numéro 4, Victor Kushkin, 2 minutes pour avoir fait trébucher à 8 minutes 30 secondes.
Canada will have the first chance with the Soviets shorthanded, and you can see the tenseness in the faces of the tremendous throng here in Vancouver. Mahavlich passed that puck, it's intercepted, and Mihailov, who's been a standout in the game for the Soviets, 2 goals and an assist, and Dryden caught that one with a little derision from the fans. On the corner, Petrov covers up, and Gilles Perreault couldn't get that puck loose. Cornwallis is over on the right wing there. Bergman is a defense player with Brad Park. Esposito coming out, Mahavlich stepping on. Here comes Sealing. And Bergman is coming over to the Canadian bench. Bobrov is doing a little directing of traffic as well. Petrov and Mihailov are trying to kill off the penalty for the Soviets, 16 and 13. Mahavlich couldn't get up there in time. Rudchenko broke it up. Esposito goes over the line, a drop pass to Cornwallis. It's checked. Brad Park knocks it into the side. Raglan had his pass partially blocked. Frank Mahavlich standing there, over to Parker, the shot! Oh, it went over the top corner with Esposito doing his best there to hustle Tretjak out of position.
Had that shot by Park been a little lower, it could have caused Tretjak a lot of trouble because he was backed up right in the net. He left a lot to shoot at.
From the face-off, a loose puck, and the Soviet cleared out at center. Petrov was able to move it. Mihailov covers his man on that wing. Canada takes over. Cornwallis playing it to Mahavlich at center. A shot right around the boards. That's something the Soviets don't do. They hang on to that puck. It's puck control all the time, whereas the Canadian team shoot it in and chase after it, which is not very effective.
Coming up on our second intermission, we'll have an interview with Tony Esposito, an interesting travel feature for those going to Moscow, Billy Warwick of the 1955 Penticton Vs, and of course Howie Meeker will be back with the highlights.
On that last play, you notice the difference where the Canadian team are getting rid of the puck, whereas the Soviets are hanging on to it and they don't shoot until they think they have a good chance. They're always passing the puck, whereas the Canadian team has been carrying it up and then shooting it in and trying to recover. Quite a difference in styles. The pass back to the blue line, Sealing played it into the corner. Esposito tried to